All right, second graders, our project this week is all about pop art. And pop art was a movement that started in the early 1900s, sort of shifting the focus of art. Up to this point, a lot of different artists that created pieces were focused on landscapes and people and lots of different things like that. And at this point in art history, the artist sort of changed the way that we created and sort of interpreted art. And they decided to change the focus into everyday life. They wanted art to be accessible to everybody, not only the people that could go to museums and different things like that. So there were a number of people that were involved in this movement, and one of those people was an artist by the name of Andy Warhol. So this is a picture of what he looks like. He actually took this picture of himself in the late 1900s. And he sort of played a lot around with the way that he presented himself with wigs and lots of different things. And so he was originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He spent some time there and then he moved into New York City and he collaborated with lots of different artists. He did die in 1987, but he enjoyed sort of creating and collaborating in between. And he is what we call sort of like a pioneer or somebody that was a leader during the pop art movement because he really came at the forefront of this change. And one of his all time uh, favorite pieces or well known pieces is sort of the Campbell soup. So I think probably some of you might have seen this. His original piece it was just a picture or a painting of the Campbell's tomato soup. And so he was able to change sort of the concept or what art focused on into something that you might find in your pantry. And a Campbell tomato soup or just soup in general is something that's very common and everybody across the nation could identify. You also notice a couple other things happening. What do you see or what grabs your attention in this piece? What do you notice? I know I definitely noticed that there's also some repetition. So the same item has been repeated a couple different times. Uh, there's some color play, right? There's different colors. So we see that this is maybe the original and what it looked like in real life. And then he got very creative in the way that it's presented in the different sections over here. Let's take a look at another one. What is similar or different about this one? He's still focusing on everyday objects, right? Because this is a strawberry. A lot of people, strawberries are very easy to access and easy to make a focus on. And he's again playing with those colors and experimenting with how they look with different backgrounds. Let's take a look at one last one. This one I thought particularly you all would enjoy because we all need a little tiger pride in our lives sometime. This was actually not created by Warhol, but it was inspired by sort of that style that we see in lots of his other pieces. And it is, again, repeating the same object and playing around with color with the main focus of an animal, which is a little bit different than sort of what Andy Warhol created. So your project this week is going to be to go out and find an everyday object. It could be something that's right next to your bed. It could be a cup, a fork, whatever you want it to be. You're going to go ahead and find that one everyday piece. Grab your paper, grab your pencil, and some markers, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So now that we've looked at a couple examples of pop art, you all are going to create your own at home using everyday objects that you might have at your house. So I've chosen my water bottle. I see it and I use it every single day. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it like this so you all can see what I'm sketching. Depending on your object, you might want to have your paper the tall vertical way or the flat horizontal way, whichever way your item fits the best. So I'm going to just try my best and draw my water bottle as big as I can on my piece of paper. So I'm going to start off with the lid, sort of have shape like this. Be able to see it like that. Go down, down, maybe this one a little bit more. Round it out. Then there's another smaller section on there. I'm going to go ahead and sketch that. You can even add the ridges. Right, and it depends on how much detail you want to add. It doesn't matter if it's completely accurate. You just want to make sure you get a general gist of your everyday object on there. Like that. I can even do the little loop that I have on there. So it looks like there's circle up there, and it kind of goes out, connects, and it's a little wider, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it back over around just like that. There's even something inside. And I think that looks pretty good. Once I have my object sketched out as best as I can, and if I wanted to, I could even go in and add the little details of my water bottle. I'm not too concerned about that. But once I have this, I'm going to go ahead and split up my paper into 4 different sections. So I'm going to take my ruler, and as best as I can, it doesn't have to be exactly the center. I'm just going to eyeball it because perfect is boring and I don't need it to be perfect. Just going to go ahead, make it all the way down. And whoops, let's try that one more time. I don't think I pressed hard enough. There we go. That's one. And then the other way, somewhere along the center. And so then what I will do is that I'm going to focus on practicing those colors that we saw in the pop art. And a great way to go about this is trying out and filling in your sections with your complementary colors. So here's what I mean. Our complementary colors we know are orange and blue, purple and yellow, red and green. So I can choose any section and I'll focus on my object being one color and the background being another. I have an example of this already done. You can use markers or crayons or anything else you want. So I'm going to go ahead and I can test out my different complementary colors in each of these sections. And it really gives the illusion and follows that pop art style. And then in the last section, because we do have 4 and only 3 pairs of complementary colors, you can just choose any color combination that you want to try. I hope you all have a lot of fun and I look forward to seeing your pop art.